whether Catholic, whether evangelical like myself, whether Protestant, we are in agreement that this is a fundamental violation of the freedom of conscience when the government compels an individual to pay money for something that violates a fundamental principle such as the sanctity of human life. And we would agree. We would agree with you on that. And you would agree with us. So thank you for being an advocate. Well, you will hear from that.
Let me make 3 quick points.
And
first of all,
who is speaking?
First of all, Zeke Emanuel from the Center for American Progress and the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
First of all, let me say it was quite clear from what the justices said that they very much want to decide this case and get past the Anti-Injunction Act. They want to decide the merits of the case. Second, Justice Breyer made quite clear that when you look at the law, Congress did not use the word tax, that what they were looking at was a penalty for not complying with the mandate. It was not a tax, and so the Anti-Injunction Act doesn't apply.
One man's penalty is another man's tax.
It said quite clearly that it should be collected in a manner similar to taxes, but that it wasn't a tax. Similarly, Justice Ginsburg said the Anti-Injunction Act applies to taxes for revenue because revenue is the lifeblood of government, and they did not want people being able to sue before they pay taxes and basically cut off the government, or not pay taxes and basically cut off the government's ability to act, and that this penalty was not about revenue for the government, even though it will generate some revenue, that it was fundamentally about compliance with the law, and that therefore it was not a tax in the way that the Anti-Injunction Act meant it to be. Given that, it was quite clear to me that in the court, from both sides, the conservatives as well as the liberals, that they want to hear the substance. They did not view the anti-tax injunction as a barrier to hearing the case because we're not dealing with a tax or a tax for revenue. We're dealing with a penalty. Indeed, I believe it was Justice Scalia or Justice Breyer who corrected Solicitor General Borelli, who kept saying a tax, and he says, don't you mean penalty? The whole court erupted because it was quite clear that that's what he meant and that's what was there. I think this day went by. We're going to proceed on the merits of the case. We're not going to have a situation where the Supreme Court is going to say we can't decide because there has not been someone harmed by this situation. I'd like now to turn it over to Ron Pollock from Families USA, who was also in the court. He happens to be a lawyer.
Hi, so
whether we are talking about a penalty or whether we are talking about a tax, it has the same effect on the conscience, on the liberties, and on the freedom of Americans to make their own decision on their fundamental conscientious objection to being forced, compelled by the government to compromise their most dearly held principles. That, I think, every one of these people would agree with. You can poll them. Can the government compel you to compromise your most fundamental moral, ethical, and religious beliefs? I think there would be a unanimous no, it cannot do that today. Thank you very much.